Hello các bạn, mình là Minh, Head Teacher tại Courage Ielts và trong video này mình sẽ thực hiện cho các bạn một IELTS Speaking Sample Band 9 về chủ đề là Opinions and Discussions.
Let's first start with speaking part 2. Describe an interesting discussion you had with your friend. You should say what the discussion was about, what opinions you and your friend had, why you think the discussion was interesting, and how you felt about it. As always, you'll have 1 minute to prepare, and this is what I've written down on a piece of paper. Let's get started. An interesting discussion I had with my friend took place several days ago. We were planning about what we would do in our trip to Saigon. We'd been thinking about this for a really long time now, and we were thrilled that it was finally time for us to go on a vacation. Prior to this discussion, I had looked up various places that we could go on TikTok, and he had done the same thing as well, so we could both contribute our ideas and come up with a detailed itinerary. We first went through the basic stuff like accommodation and restaurants. We would love to be able to sample all the specialties in Saigon. I've been there twice already, but the local cuisine is so diverse that there are so many dishes that I haven't gotten around to trying yet. An idea that particularly stood out to me was when he told me that we should go and play paddle. This sport is basically non-existent where I live. It's much more prevalent in Western countries. We have watched clips of people playing this sport together, and it just captured our attention. You can hit the ball after it bounced off the glass walls multiple times, and you can even run outside of the court to hit the ball back in. That is just absurd, and we wanted to give it a go. I also suggested an interesting idea of my own, which was to try go-kart racing. There is a track in Hanoi, but the one in Saigon is longer and more challenging. We are thrill seekers, so such an activity would be the perfect fit for us. After the discussion, I felt even more excited about the trip because we finally got everything mapped out and we were ready to go right there and then. If you think that the discussion I had with my friend was interesting, thì đừng quên like, subscribe để không bỏ lỡ những IELTS Speaking Sample tiếp theo. Thank you very, very much. Let us move on to speaking part 3. Should parents consider their children's opinions on everything? I don't think that's a great idea because children's opinions can often be quite immature. They usually have poor self-control, so children might suggest eating junk food every single day simply because it's tasty. Parents, on the other hand, understand the consequences of consuming too much fast food, and therefore they should stop their children from developing unhealthy eating habits. However, there are also situations where parents should listen to their children, especially when it comes to personal interests. If a child hates learning how to play a musical instrument but are passionate about martial arts, parents should give them the freedom to make their own choice. Why do some young people refuse to communicate with others? It's pretty rare to see a case like that, but if it does happen, I would say that it's because they're a bit too timid. They may lack confidence and feel afraid of being judged or misunderstood by others, so they avoid social interaction altogether. Another possible reason is the growing influence of technology and social media. Many young people nowadays spend a large amount of time online, which can reduce their face-to-face communication skills. As a result, they might feel more comfortable interacting through screens rather than communicating in person. Third question, when do children normally form their own views? I believe that when children reach a certain age, they naturally form their own opinions. When they are younger, they tend to blindly believe in whatever their parents say because parents are authority figures and the people they trust the most. However, as they grow older, especially during adolescence, they gradually develop confidence and begin to trust in their own judgment. Although their decisions at this age can sometimes be misguided, I believe that it's still an essential part of growing up as they grow through trial and error. Next question, do children have strong opinions? Yes, but only if parents play a major role in shaping that particular opinion. For example, I've seen children argue with absolutely everyone just to defend the belief that Santa Claus is real. This is mainly because their parents encouraged this belief by secretly leaving them presents every single Christmas that matched the gifts they asked Santa for in their letters. In cases like this, no outside influence is strong enough to make children change their mind. Should parents require their kids to obey them? Yes, because parents tend to act in their children's best interests, so being obedient to one's parents is likely to lead to positive outcomes. Notwithstanding this, parents should still teach children how to make decisions on their own sometimes. They can start out with minor and inconsequential decisions like which drinks they want to have so they can gradually build confidence in themselves. This is extremely important to a child's success in later stages of life. In what industry do you think communication is an important skill? An industry that springs to mind is the educational industry. You need to be well spoken if you ever want to find success as a teacher. A teacher needs to be able to get their message across to make lessons more engaging and help students memorize knowledge better. People in the healthcare industry also need great communication skills, believe it or not, since doctors and nurses are required to explain medical conditions clearly and reassure patients. That's an underappreciated aspect in this industry.
That's the end of the speaking sample. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.